Am I audible to you, everyone? Is my voice is audible? Hello? Anyone? The screen. Sai, Anjali, Sweta, Kathy, and Jhansinani. Anyone? Am I audible to you? Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine. Thank you.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And yesterday, just we have discussed about the what is the meaning and scope and importance of the financial administration. Is it? Okay. The scope, it cover many things. That means audit, accounting, budget, and treasury management, and every many things we have covered in yesterday class. In today, we are going to learn about the budget, one of the most important aspect in the financial administration. I would say it is a heart for the financial administration, the budget. That is a second unit for you. In this chapter, we are going to learn about the meaning of the budget and principles of the budget and types of the budget and what is the importance of the budget. These all are the things we are going to cover in this session. First, we would know what is the budget, what is the meaning of budget, why it is important, why we have to prepare a budget, what Indian government or constitution is saying says about the budget. Is it right? First, we will know the meaning of the budget, how that word budget has derived, and in which language. All these know, all these things we will learn. Is it right? The word budget is derived from a French word that is Bauguti. Bauguti, Bougetti, Bauguti, means a leather bag or wallet, a leather bag or wallet. The term was used for the first time in 1733. Generally, they are saying that open the budget and pointed against the Whirlpool financial plan for the year. And yesterday we learned that the financial the financial transactions for the 1 year, the financial statement generally we called it budget. That is the 1 year. The meaning, the word derived from the French word, and the meaning of the budget is leather bag or wallet. Generally, generally, the chancellor or exchequer of the London, they are taking or bringing up papers in a leather bag to present a financial plan for the country, to present in a house, to present in a house. That's why it is called but it is called leather bag or budget. That is the meaning of the term, meaning of the term of the budget. Why it is so important? Why it is so important? The financial statement is important to avoid the frauds, to avoid the confusion, to avoid the uncertainty in the financial matters. So if you have properly planned the financial matters or monetary related issues per year, it must be very easy to understand for any organization and any people in working in the organization. That's why the annual plan for the monetary things is a more important. That's why we have started, or early from early ages it has started, a financial plan for the year, a financial plan for the year. Just we learned that the meaning of the budget, when, where, which language it has derived that word The meaning of the budget is a leather bag or a leather wallet. Leather wallet. Here, just we will see one definition regarding to the budget. Budget is a financial plan summarizing the financial experience of the past, stating a current plan and projecting it over a specific period of the time in future. Budget is a financial plan was given by DMOC, one of the most important administrative theorist and thinker, and he gave that definition. It is a financial experience. The 1 year period may different from the one country to another country. It is not same to the every. Generally, we have followed April to May following. That is a financial year in India. It may different from the America. It may different from the Australia, and it may different from the Pakistan also. Pakistan also. So that financially, particularly for 1 year, just you have to remember that part. And the thing is, what are the most important, and it is playing key role for the all financial related matters. Just we will see what are the features of the budget. That means the first is budget is a systematic plan. That means that plan contains the expenditure and the revenue, estimated estimate of the expenditure and revenue, that plan. That means we are keeping all the financial responsibilities means budget is a systematic plan. Every year we plan it. What are the resources we have, and what are the estimated expenditure we are going to course. That is one feature. Actions or that things already mentioned in this plan. That is a that's why it is a scheme for action because us, we are allocating some money and we are ideally the plan for the financial administration is given to the 1 year. That is a financial statement for the next year. Is it right? That is another feature of the budget. And the next one is a parliamentary section. Parliamentary, yes, parliament having right, parliament having right to parliament to prepare the budget. That means to sanction the budget and to enact the budget. To enact the with the prior approval of the parliament only, we can spend any public amount for the schemes and programs. Schemes and programs. That is a parliament section. And budget presented by the executive. It is a heart of the management. Heart of the management. So whatever you want to do with the financials and monetary things, and is a tool for is a play to control. May executives, bureaucrats may spend more money or unnecessarily they maintaining fraud accounts, all those things. It can control by the legislatures because the legislature can introduce the only legislature have power to enact the budget, whatever amount, sanctioned amount for the each program or each department or each section in the government with the prior approval of the legislature only, we can spend it. We can spend it. That means every time we need to the report to the legislature whatever the amount was spent. For all these things, that computer and artificial intelligence can take the responsibility. And at the same time, the budget as an instrument of economic and social and cultural rights. Budget diversity in our society we can find that is diversity. That means there is a socially differences and economic differences. That means poor and rich people and vulnerable sections, depressed classes, and many cultures, multicultural society. Our society is multicultural society. So the budget is an instrument to balance all the equations. That means rich and poor and the social and the cultural rights, whatever. So these all things we can balance through the budget. That means aspirations and the wish and dreams of the different kind of the people and the different areas of the people. That means culturally, that means northeastern people and south India people and north India people. Is it right? So there is a different type of culture, rich and poor. This whole thing, thing we can balance through the budget, enhance the status in a society. So it is a one of the instrument. It is one of the instrument to put society. Our society in order and balance. These all are the features of the budget. And majorly there is a many types of budget, and two types of budget. One is zero based budget, and second one is performance budget. Before starting the types of the budget, so far do you have any clarification? You required any clarifications or any doubts? Yes, students. That means just we have completed that meaning of the budget and what are the features of the budget. Anyone? Just give me clarity further. If you have any doubt regarding the budget, why it is a 1 year, and what are the features, how it is an instrument, all these things. Do you have any doubts so far? If it is not possible to talk or speak, you can chart here or text here. That is not a problem for me to move next. Okay, I'll continue. So we continue. So the next point is types of budget. Types of budget. There are many types: programmed budget and a line time budget and performance budget, and a singular and a plural budget, annual or long-term budgets, and a legislative or executive or a commission type of budget. These all are there are many numbers of types of budget, but performance budget and zero budgets are the most important other than. Is it right? So that means annual and long-term budget. That means the words itself they have meaning. That means annually or a long term. And singular and plural budget. That means single budget we are presenting here after the merging of railway budget in our legislature. We are presenting only singular budget. For that, many countries have following the plural budgets also differently. That means department wise, some of them are having a railway separately and agriculture separately, industry separately, like that. So there is a deficit budget and a balanced budget. This surplus and a budgets that depends on the revenues and expenditure. Expected expenditure, it is a deficit budget. According to the economist, a deficit budget is a sign of the country's making progress. Is it right? A balanced budget is a one wherein the anticipated revenue and the equal and anticipated expenditure. The budget is called as a balanced budget. Is it right? So there are a different type of budgets, and most important are zero based budget. Zero based budget. What is the zero based budget? What is a zero based budget? Zero based budget is also rational budgeting, like management by objective, that means MBO. It is in a transparent form of the private sector, which has so far been confident to the United States under this system. Every theme should be viewed critically and or any government of the country having many departments, and many levels. Is it right? So previously we have allocated some amount of money to perform their activities and to run daily or day by day activities. But in this process, that means a zero budget budgeting is an emerging process adopted by variety of industrial organizations as well as the state and municipal government. That means we are going to allocate funds on start from the zero. That means whether the the department or a section previously, how it was performed, whether they are spent that amount or not. We are not thinking on that. Just freshly, we started with the zero accounts. We started with the zero. So we have identified the different type of departments and sections. We get the demands and the request from the departments for the next financial plan. We started every account with the zero. That means we allocated, we have taken the statistics for the zero and we can. This process was first adopted in government by Governor Jimmy Carter. This was introduced in 1973, which was in a worldwide. It was introduced in 1963. In India, it was introduced in the 1973. The India, in India, the Union Minister, Finance Minister VP Singh implemented zero-based budget at the first in a small way in the 1986 and 87, and then in full the budget formulation from the 1987 to 1988. So the financial minister, even financial minister of VP Singh, the first he was introduced the zero-based type of budget in India. But this was introduced by the Jimmy Carter. Zero-based budget. Just to remember, the zero-based budget means we are going to allocate the funds and everything from the zero. From the zero. That's why it's called a zero-based budget. Just you can. The other one is performancing budget. Performance budget. The system of the performance budget organized in the USA. The term performance budget was coined by the first Hoover Commission in 1949. This commission is recommended the adoption of the performance budgeting in the USA to make effective management approach to the budget. Accordingly, it was introduced in 1950 by President Truman. Is it right? The performance budget, how it is a differ with the zero-based difference between the zero-based budget and performance budget. The performance budget is, and we are allocating the funds or dispersing of the funds are based on the performance of the department. Performance of the department. Is it right? The performance budget emphasis on the purpose of the expenditure rather than the expenditure itself. It presents the budget in terms of the function, programs, activities, and projects. It establishes a correlation between the physical and financial aspect of each program and activity. Hence, it necessitates as a functional classification of the budget. Is it right? There is a point that is related to the functions, programs, and activities and projects. So based on that, we are allocating the budget. If you give importance to these sections, that is called performance budget. Performance budget. There are the different stages in this performance budget. That is objectives, analysis, budget classification, organization, evaluation. These all these all are related to the performance budget. Then what is the principles of the budget? Yes, these all are good. These all are good. It is a basic instrument. It is a systematic plan and everything. There is a good. Then how can we prepare a budget? Is there any principles to prepare the budget? Then what are the principles we have to follow? The budgetary principles. That is more important. That is more important. Budget, as we have seen above, is an effective instrument of economic and social changes. It is a basis without which there can be no lasting social progress. Is it right? It is desirable that it should conform to certain budgetary principles. Is it right? The more important principles of the budget making of That means we need to balance all the sections of the people in society. We have to follow some principle, then only the budget can fulfill the all the aspirants and all the wish and the demands and the requires of the all the sections of the people in the society, all the sections of the people in the society. See, we have to see we have to see every section and every department in the society or in the government need to be developed. For that, we have to maintain some principles. We have to maintain certain principles while we are preparing the budget. Then only can get the equality and we can maintain the social society, balanced society. So that we have to follow some principles, and some principles that is just we look at what are the principles for the budget we have to follow. These all are the ideal principles. I would not say I would say these all are the ideal principles. Particularly are we are implementing or not, we will see later, but we have to follow the other principles. The first and foremost one is budget should be a balanced one. Balanced one. That means in every section, either it is a revenues or surplus, or estimated expenditures are deficit. This we need to balance all these things. Budget should be a balanced one. That estimates expenditure should not exceed the revenue or income. Our revenues or our incomes are very low, are not on par with the estimations. How can you allocate, how can you fulfill the objective of the budget, how can you fulfill the objective of that program, how can you complete that activity in the next year? That means we need to balance while we preparing the budget. That means estimated expenditure and your income or revenue, you have to check it, you have to balance it. Is it right? When the amounts of the expenditure and the revenue is revenue in a budget are equal or nearly so, it is called balanced budget. If expenditure is lesser than the anticipated revenue, it is a surplus budget. And if expenditure is more than anticipated revenue, it is called deficit budget. We should not go for the surplus and the deficit. We need to balance the budget as estimated expenditure and revenue also. And Mr. Water PK Water says that it is the first requisite of the financial stability and occupies the same place in the financial administration as the maintenance of law and order in executive administration. The first principle is budget should be a balanced one, and at the same time, it is the first requisite to the maintain the stability in the financial matters in a country. Not should a surplus budget or a deficit budget. Is it right? So the first principle is we have to go. That is, budget should be a balanced one. And next one is budget formulation is a responsibility of the executive. The chief executive is responsible for running the administration. He is the best position to say what funds are required for it. And in each department, it knows what are the requirements, what are the demands. Is it right that the chief executive can know what are the requirements for their department? So they can give actual. They are the responsible persons. They are the responsible persons to give actual figures and actual amounts. How much they required? How much they required? Is it right? So that is the responsibility of the each department head or executive to get the sufficient amount or a sufficient money to run their departments. So that is the responsibility. In India, Ministry of Finance in England, the Treasury and USA in the Bureau of a Budget help their respective chief executives in the budget planning. Is it right? These all are these all are in a parliamentary government that exist all the accepted principles. No demands for the grants can be made expert on the recommendations of the executive. So the chief executives are responsible. Chief executives are responsible to formulate the budget. That is the second point. And third one is estimate should be on a cash basis. Estimates should be on a cash basis. The principle of the cash basis of the budget means that it should be prepared on the basis of the actual receipts and the expenditure expected during the year, and not on the basis of the receipts which are to be realized in the same other year, or the expenditure which is ordered into that. Is it right? So we have to estimates whatever the revenue for the next academic year on the basis of the cash only. On the basis of the cash only. Is it right? Some European countries where the later practice is followed, and determination of the final surplus of the deficits could be years and even decades. Is it right? Delayed accounts, loss of much of their value of the proposes of a financial control, each budget for the it's all of some problems. So we have to estimate all the estimates, all the estimations in the department. We have to do on cash basis only. Cash basis only. That is third one. And fourth one is budgeting should be done on the basis of a gross and not net income, and not on net income. Budget should present a clear-cut picture of the gross and not the net income of the country. Both the receipts and expenditure should be fully shown in budget and not merely the result net position. Is it right? So we have to prepare. We have to prepare what are the gross of income. Is it right? Not on the net. And at the same time, fifth one is estimation should be as far as possible exact. You should not estimate amount reserve, that is estimate provided in a budget should be as far as the possible and exact. There should be neither too much or overestimating nor underestimating. We have to exactly we need to estimate it. So we need to estimate or too much of expectations. We should not do it in the budget. Is it right? Because for everything, finance is required to do it. If you are not estimating properly, that means if it is not, definitely it is not the sound financial system. So we have to estimate it, and annuality of the budget. We have to. The principle of the annuality is one of the most important principle of the budgetism. It means that the budget should be prepared on the annual basis. The budget should be prepared annual basis. It means that the legislature should grant money to the executive for 1 year only. For the 1 year only. A year is a responsible period of time for which the legislature can offer effort to give financial authority to execute. Is it right? Because the legislature having power and to formulate it to enact the budget. Then the executive branch having right to utilize whatever the statements, whatever the funds, and whatever the programs or whatever the activities we have designed in the financial statement. They have right to implement it in one period of 1 year, for the period of 1 year. And at the same next point is principle of rule of lamps. Then what is the rule of lamps? The rule of slabs is a most important. Is it right? The annuality of a budgeting is also implies that the money left unspent during the year for the which it was a sanction must lapse to the public treasury, and the government cannot spend it unless re-sanction the next year. Re-sanction the next year. So whatever we estimated, whatever the receipts we have, these all things are these all things are these all things are eligible for the only 1 year. These all things are eligible for the only 1 year of time. That means if you are not spending that money, it's a return to the government, public treasury. That means that the rule has lapsed. That means you doesn't have any right. You don't have any right to take the money after completing of the 1 year. After completing of the 1 year. Is it right? This rule of lapse is essential for effective financial control. Otherwise, we don't have any clarity that amount has when it has sanctioned, which year we have spent. Is it right? So we have to close all the financial accounts, and we have to spend the money within a year only. Then only it is then only we can effectively control the financial issues. If the unspent balance of 1 year could be carried out of for the expenditure in future years, it would make the departments independent of the control the legislation. Is it right? So so the departments and sections, whatever the programs and whatever the amount sanctioned for the departments, they need to spend that money whatever the stated year that a financial year. Otherwise it may lapse. That means we don't have any access. We don't have any permission to spend that closed amount. And if you want to use it, if you want to spend that amount again, you have to take the permission from the again resanction for the next year budget one. That is a principle of a rule of lapse, which is most important principle in the budgetary system. And another principle is treasury control. The legislature authorities the government to spend money, but it is does not the direct them how to spend it. That is the job of the government itself. The best system of the direction and internal control can be seen in the working of the British Treasury in India, where it concerned itself not only regarding to the preparation of budget, but also exercise day-to-day supervision over the flow of finance to the operating agents. Through its power of sanctioning money and the employment of personnel, it has come to exercise managerial control over the operating agents. Is it right? So treasury control is one of the principle, and executive discretion. Executive must be given sufficient discretion in the matter of the allocation of the appropriation. If it is to exercise supervision over the activities of the spending departments. That is also another principle. That is also another principle. And next is a form of estimate should be correspondent to accounts. Form of estimate should correspond to the account. To ensure easy understanding and judicious financial control. The form of estimate should conform to that of national accounts. In India, the list of major and minor heads of the accounts of the state receipts and disbursements as prescribed to the Control and Auditor General. Control and Auditor General. Is it right? So the introduction of the new major and minor heads, as well as the abolition of abolition or a change in the nomenclature of any of the existing heads and requires as approval of the authority. That means maybe generally in private company, private industries and private they are maintaining different type of accounts and the names they change immediately to establish the sister companies and all these things to do fraud. But in a public sphere, in a public accounts, we have to maintain very clearly the major and the minor heads. Is it right? If there's any change, nomenclature or anything change, we have to get the prior approval from the authority. Then only the money can disburse to the your accounts or credit to the your accounts. That is another principle. And separation of revenue and capital account. The revenue and the capital portion of the budget should be kept separate for a transparent and precise comprehension of capital. Separation of capital items helped in achieving a surplus in a revenue account once presently in India and some other countries. Separation of these two terms or distinction between capital budget and the revenue budget is being followed. This is also another principle. This is capital accounts, and the another principle is single budget. That is single budget. Yes. Single budget is better. It is also an important principle of budget making that the government should have a single as a picture of a financial transactions of the government whole. Is it right? Completely. The single budget having department has. So to avoid all the confusions, to clear cut picture to the people and public, single budget is enough. Whatever the revenues and whatever the income sources you have and whatever the estimates you have, they can understand easily. If you introduce more than one budget or two budget, they misunderstand and they might got um, confusion which budget related to this program and which budget offers this type of activities and all this. So we have to follow that single budget principle, single budget principle. So these all are the principles. These all are the principles while we preparing the budget system. Otherwise, maybe budget take another way and it misleads the financial matters and as well as it create the uncertainty and unclear things in society. That means people are not satisfied and may their desires and aspirations may not fulfill. So we have to follow certain principles. Then only we can balance the budget. Then only we can see the budget as a fruitful one. Fruitful one. Otherwise, may it is difficult to understand which account and which how the financial flow is going and how can we take it benefits from that. Is it right? These all are the confusion. These all are the confusion. That's why we have to follow some principles. So these are the points in this unit. These are the points in this unit. So far we have covered hardly 4 to 5 points. That is why the budget is important. The budget is important. That is because it is a heart of the management. It is a heart of the financial management to touch every sphere and every section of the people and to every department. Is that right? So the budget is a very important. Budget is important. That is first. And the next one is a meaning. Meaning of the budget. Just I would say the word from derived from the French word. It means leather bag or leather bag or wallet. The Baugotti, the French word Baugotti, it means leather bag or wallet. Generally, that England exchequer, chancellor or exchequer, are bringing that documents, financial annual documents in a leather bag. That's why it's called budget. Is it right? That is a meaning and definition. We have seen one of the big, important definition given by the DMAP. That is a financial plan summarizing the financial experience of the past, stating in the current plan and projecting it over the specific specified period. That is one definitions we have. And after that we have in discussing that features of the budget. Budget is a systematic plan. Budget is a scheme of action. Budget is a gap between estimates and actuals and annual plan and parliamentary section and budget as part of the management. Budget tool as a legislative control. Budget as a instrument of economic and social and cultural rights. These all things and we have covered. And after that there are just mainly we have discussing about the two types of budget. One is a zero based budget, another one is performance budget. Zero based budget means we have to start from the zero. All the accounts we have started with irrespective of the previous accounts and the previous balance. We have started all accounts with the zero. Whereas the performance budget is performance based. Performance based. We have calculate all the performance, each department appraisal, and do it and what is the performance of the budget. According to that, we are allocating the funds. And last one we have discussed about that is mm, budgetary principles. That is budgetary principles. And budget should be a balanced one. And budget formulation is the responsibility of the executive. And third one is estimate should be on cash basis. Cash basis. And the budget should be done on the basis of gross and not net income. And estimate and another one is estimate should be so far as possible exact, not over or overestimating or too much estimating. And at the same time underestimating also, that is also danger. That means you are not assessing the performance of the department. That's why you underestimate. You don't know how much of the amount it is required. That's why you are underestimate. That is also. And annuality of the budget. That means we have to frame budget for annual basis. Annual basis, not less than a year or not more than a year. Maybe it gives some confusion to the to maintain the records and accounts. All these things is difficult. So that's why ideally we have to follow the principle of annuality and principle of rule of law, which is more important for the computer exams also. Rule of law. What is rule of law? The the principle of rule of lapse means we have to spend whatever the allocated demand for the specific period only. After that period, if is there any balance amount, we have to return to the public treasury and the government. Is it right? Then if you want to spend that balanced one after completing a year, you have to take prior permission from the. That means every year, whatever the estimations, whatever the income we have to spend all the amount in that year only. Otherwise, the rule of lapse, so the principle may apply, and all the balance items may be goes to the public treasury. Is it right? That is, and treasury control. Treasury control is a must to assess all the financial years. And next one is executive discretion. And and other one is a form of estimation should be corresponding to the accounts and the separation of revenue on the capital accounts. A single budget is better. Single budget is better. So these all are the things we have covered in this chapter. Is it right? Just remember it. Meaning of the budget, definition, and the types of the budget, features of the budget, and features of the budget, and at the same time principles of the budget. These all are the pillars of the important points in this unit. If you have any doubts, dear students, if you want any clarity on any point, you can ask, or you may discuss how this principle is implemented in our India or our country. Maybe these all principles are ideal. Maybe some principles may we exercise or not. Is it right? And mostly that the budget is, I can say, or I would say, it is a political instrument, and it is a political strategy they are following to satisfy the every section in the society, to balance the everyone aspirations, everyone desires. Is it right? Particularly India, it is a to to draft to give one financial good one financial good plan to year. It is a difficult task, because our country is a multicultural society, multi-language society. There is so many demands and aspirations from the people, and at the same time, there is a rich and poor difference is also there. So we have to satisfy it with the budget only. With the budget only. If the government is not balancing all the things, maybe it would be effect on the government performance, and again the people may not choose the government for the next elections. Is it right? So the budget is a more important for any government, and it is also one of the political weapon, one of the political. We have to see all these things in a budget process. And tomorrow we can and discuss about the how to do it budget process, budget preparation, and enactment and execution of the budget. Because in this class we learned what are the principles. As per that principles, are we are preparing the budget or not? What is the process to enact and execute it? These are all things we will know in tomorrow class. In yesterday class, just we have know about, just we have been discussing about the what is the importance and scope of the financial administration. In this class, we have learned what is the meaning, importance, different and principles of the budget. Is it right? So these are the things. And if you have any clarity for any point, you can ask. So far, you have any doubts? And if anyone in this class, anyone? Anyone? Kathy, I think, and Jhansi Rani, KKR, Alia, As Rahman, Sweta. Okay, we are unable to unmute, sir. Okay, fine. You can chart it. You can chart it. Kathy, you can chart it. Do you have any doubt or clarity regarding any point? No doubt, sir. Okay, that means I hope everyone understand this concept. What is the budget and the principles and types of the budget, and we will see in the next class. But sometimes your voice is not audible. Okay, I think there is a technical glitches. Yeah. Okay. 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 Mhm. because the poor might, you know, between tomorrow classes. Okay. Owners are telling you that it's not right. Okay. And as well as not only my site, my signal network is very good, and you may also check your signal connectivity whether it is good or not. Because my site is showing that 100% signal internet. I don't know what is the problem. We'll see later. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you guys.